so it's Jenevieve. I finished my assignment, my first assignment for the Fierce Conversation book a few weeks ago, and just now I'm kind of making my video. I wanted a little time to just kind of reflect and think on it. So the questions that I'm answering are what lessons I learned from that section of the book and why I think that the owners wanted every employee to read this book. So to answer the first question, the biggest lesson that I learned going through the first assignment is that for every finger that I was kind of pointing out at what I felt my problems were, it was really just one finger pointing at myself. And I guess what I mean by that is that I've been looking to other people, such as Joe or my husband or I don't know who else I'm looking out to, but I'm looking to these people for answers of what to do next or where I'm going next or how to move or how to get up or how to do better and whatnot. And really I kind of learned that by asking those questions, it's really defeating the purpose of stepping into more of a leadership position or into being a more leader even in my own personal life. And I think that that's really the biggest thing that I took away is that I can't keep looking to other people to solve my problems. I need to figure out first how to solve these problems on my own and then bring them to other people to work on together. I think that having a baby really changed me in a lot of ways, and I feel like I've lost a little bit of myself, and I'm trying to kind of regain who I am in order to help these other pieces of the puzzle fall into place. I plan on doing that through establishing a hobby for myself and, making some time to spend time with me and to really answer these questions for myself so that I can enrich my relationships with other people. The next question was, why do I think that the owners want us to all experience this book? And I feel that the owners want us to experience this book because it's called Fierce Conversations, and not necessarily meaning like having these come to Jesus talks or anything like that. I think it's just really how to enrich every relationship by having meaningful conversations. The biggest thing that I really took away from that first section is that it said that every relationship is really just a series of conversations. So I feel that by learning how to have better conversations with people in my life, whether it's myself or my significant other or my child or my coworker or my future professionals or the clients that come into the school or my coworkers, I think I already said that, but it's going to help enrich the relationship in the long run. And by learning how to have those conversations, it's going to make it a lot easier, and it's going to help everybody. Everybody's going to come out of the situation feeling a lot more fulfilled. So that's what I took away from that first section. Stay tuned for what's coming up next. Alright, so after finishing part 2, it was definitely a lot different than the part 1. I felt like part 1 was a lot of self-realization and kind of finding out that taking that first step and helping to solve some of the problems that you have. And I feel like part 2 is really more about like forming the scripts and forming those conversations so that you can have a really successful conversation. Some of the really big takeaways that I took out of part 2, one thing that I loved about it was just it was really focusing on listening. Not so much like talking about your problem, but listening to the person's response and really listening to what they're trying to tell you and what the underlying problem is. Because definitely one thing I've learned is a lot of times when somebody brings a problem to you, or even when you think that you have a problem, really there's a totally underlying issue that's there that has nothing to do with what the original problem was. So I feel like that's really one of the biggest things that I took away. Part 2 also, I had some of the conversations with people that I was forming in part 1, and those conversations went really well. There was a lot of really great outcomes from those situations, and it's really helped to enrich my relationships with people, and I'm really excited about that. All right, first off, go Hawks. We're gonna make it Super Bowl 49. First of all, I just finished part 3 of my Fierce Conversation assignment, and all in all, I really, really enjoyed this book. I learned a lot of really important lessons, and I really feel like it benefited a lot of my relationships with my future professionals, a lot easier to pose those conversations and have a better outcome from it. Some of my really important takeaways from the last section of the book, the first one is to clarify your intent. I think a lot of times we go into a conversation not really 100% knowing what the purpose of that conversation is. So I feel like this book really gave me a lot of great tools to make sure that I'm getting my message across clearly and I'm getting to the point and not fluffing and beating around the bush about it. The last thing, one of my favorite things I learned was to talk with people and not at them. I think as an educator, that's something that we're definitely guilty of doing sometimes, is just talking at somebody, but really coming into the conversation full circle and making sure that we're having a really good, beneficial conversation to help enrich all of our relationships. This is definitely a book that I have already recommended to a bunch of different people to read because I really feel like it can benefit anybody no matter where you are at in your life or within your company. It's something that everybody can benefit from, and it's just the results from it were exponential, and I absolutely love this book. So yeah, that's it.
It might seem